Yes, hello everyone. Glad to be here with you all for another exciting day at the Evolve Africa Challenge. I do hope you've been enjoying yourself with all the amazing speakers we've been bringing to you, talking to you about how creatives can make change, can make social impact, and also giving exciting examples of how this has been done in very exciting ways. Yeah, it's been an amazing week so far, and we're really excited to be here with you again to keep on discussing on the topic of social change, social impact for creatives, especially digital creatives, which is the industry we are involved in. Yeah, so let's get right into it. Today we have an amazing speaker, and that's in person of should I mention his name? Yeah. So before I mention his name, just a quick, simple background. He's a filmmaker and he works in the virtual reality industry. He's one of the top XR leads out there globally. And yeah, let's bring him on board. His name is Adrian. Welcome on stage, Adrian.
Thanks for the intro. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah, so I'm sure everyone would love to meet you, know about what you do. Please introduce yourself.
Okay. So my Adrian Rashad Driscoll. I'm a storyteller by nature. Television and films is my background. I'm also an XR expert, so anything augmented or virtual reality. And now aside from telling stories, I travel the world and I try to help other people, particularly people of color, get into the XR space and tell them the opportunity. And I found some success doing that.
Nice. Like that. Like that. Cool, cool, cool. And yeah, before we go in, so you work mainly across, because I went through your LinkedIn not long ago and I see you also support in lots of programs and all. So what's the scope like of your activities? I know you're in the US, right?
Yeah, I mean, I usually consult on the story side. How do you make sure that technology remains invisible? How do you make sure that people aren't using it as a gimmick? Because it's important. At the end of the day, it's all about the story. So that's our main thing. Is I help that, and then I help creators understand, how to bridge and how to connect the two and how to do it effectively. And that's I travel the world doing that part.
Super, super, super. Yeah. So, and today our discourse is about making impact as a creative, and I'm really excited about that because you are a digital creative. You are in the Excel space, which in Africa I can tell you it's a very interesting space. I
Mhm.
say very interesting because a lot of Africans feel like, okay, extra is nice, extra is great, but it's not yet the time for us to embark on this. Like, it's not for us, it's not for our market. And so, a lot of the stakeholders within, you see them doing projects for cultural exhibitions mainly to go showcase and exhibit and show this is our culture, this is our tradition. They use it in storytelling as well, but it's
Sure.
not mainstream. So that's why I'm really excited to have you here because I've seen you've done lots of amazing stuff. And I'd like to understand the various avenues that these creators can explore and how they can also use it in driving impact. So tell us, what's the exciting thing about the Excel space?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it is early, but early is late here. So it's like if you're just now getting into XR, you're already late. If you wait till tomorrow, you're going to be too late. So everyone should be exploring. But it's a tool like anything else. You could tell a great story on a cell phone, or you could tell a horrible story on a red cam. It doesn't really matter because it's all about using tools to tell the story and to boost your narrative. But the access is insane. I went from being a filmmaker who was trying to get in the room and trying to speak to people, to now having NBC and HBO and all these huge studios contact me and ask for my consultancy, right? So it's a huge backdoor, and we already know there's huge biases, when it comes to Black people in entertainment in general. Like, let's be honest, right? This has helped me get past a lot of those biases, a lot of those gatekeepers, and make a career out of it.
Well, that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. So when you say you work with them, let's dive in. What exactly do you do? You say you work on the storytelling bit. So let's say in the film industry or so, what how does XR work in that space? Because it's just now in Africa we are seeing improvements in VFX, and we're seeing them getting to look out for 3D artists, 3D animators. It's now growing. I mean, they've tried it in the past, it wasn't great, but now we're seeing people entering it once more. So how about the film industry? What does it look like? Where does XR fit into it currently?
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because to understand it, you have to kind of go back and see all the things that have went wrong. Like 2015, 2016, a lot of big studios were throwing like tons of money at projects because they thought that VR was going to replace traditional film. That's not the case. The goal is to tell a story that's extending. That's one of the biggest things is how do I you have your current picture, right? Okay, I'm showing this movie. In the beginning, my thought was Goodfellas, great movie, right? Historic classic piece, right? What if you could sit at the table, when they're playing poker, right? And re-experience that whole scene. So I'm not trying to tell you a story differently. I'm trying to bring you closer to the existing story. That's the first focus, right? Now, if you are going to tell a story using XR tools, make sure you craft it around it, because people aren't going to forgive if you make them put on a headset and it's not good. That's just the truth of it, right? You have to be able to justify the friction points, and then you get past them. VR is very cool, but bad VR is very not cool. So it's an extremist. It's like an extremist mindset, because at the end of the day, you have to tell the powerful story. Sometimes it doesn't need to be told in a headset.
You've struck a nerve there. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm getting this idea for you that people should really take their mind off the idea of virtual reality and understand the fact that it's simply just a medium. It's still
That's
the
it.
same thing we've been doing, but it's still a medium. It's
Right.
still all about storytelling, all about transferring ideas. And if you want to do it properly, you then just need to understand that being a new medium, we need to ensure the story fits in and is relayed properly. And
Correct.
that's really exciting. Yeah, that's really
Ab-
exciting. But
Absolutely.
beyond, but beyond filmmaking, what other avenues have you? Are there other sectors and all?
Absolutely. I mean, so if you think about the nature of virtual reality, for example, virtual reality is known as the empathic machine, right? Because when you're looking at something on TV, there's a ton of distractions, and you can't be completely immersed because other things happen around you. If your phone goes off right now, you're going to look at your phone. No matter how interesting you may think this panel is, you're going to look at your phone. In VR, it's taking you out of that. And if you're naturally in a situation, if you see something happen, whether it be positive or traumatic, you're going to remember it. It's going to resonate, and it's going to permeate your subconscious to be like, wow, I think I did feel that, and that's how change happens. And that's we've done that for clients, and the results have been amazing. Outside of filmmaking, it's been incredible.
Yeah, there's some exciting projects you could just give us highlights. I'm sure there are lots of NDAs and all flying around there saying don't speak Adrian, but are there some key projects that you can really just highlight on? Yeah.
Sure. So one of my favorites was United Way. So we United Way had, they received a large amount of money to fight the homeless uh, crisis here in LA. And there was a lot of pushback because the consensus was that homeless people are lazy, they're on drugs. I mean, that's the consensus, right? That's what people think. And when they went to improve the undeveloped land, the homeowners are like, no, 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 right? So we created a 360 video experience showing the from A to Z how you get into supportive housing, some of the requirements, and we took people in a headset through that process, and since then, over 12,000 people have received homes. and that's, it's huge, right? And it's using this medium because at the end of the day, everything is a story. Everything's a narrative. Two people sit and talk about the positive effects of VR. Like, this is a story. It may not win an Oscar, sure, but like it is a story. So if you go with story first, you're gonna win. If you go technology first, you're gonna lose. Because technology shouldn't ever be the driver. It should be a tool, whether it's AI, VR, AR, whatever it is. These are only tools. And when used effectively, they can make a huge impact.
I like that. I can imagine the kind of impact, immersing them in that experience, and they'll get to connect more
Right.
with it, and that's really cool. But at this, I'm also getting a vibe that these are more B2B small segments. In terms of scale, what are we looking at? Say, yeah, these projects are now due to accessibility issues, access to all these devices and all. Um, are there projects that are like scale high impact, or right now it's really traveling on the B2B side, business to business and small numbers, user groups and all?
Yeah, I mean, mostly it's going to be B2B right now, simply because of the price point. This stuff is expensive to make. It requires a lot of time, a lot of brain power, and a lot of teams. Like everything we do, we have teams that, make it possible. But I mean, before you look at like scaling VR, you have to look at the foundation. Like here in America, not everybody has internet, right? You see what I'm saying? So like, I can give you a headset, but you have no internet, it means nothing. It's a book, it's a paperweight, So like you have to look at the underlying issues first, and then scale up and say, okay, well, now they have internet. Okay, look at this. But our approach at Collimation is significantly different, right? Our approach is, how do we make it accessible? How do we let you choose how you access it? Right. So typically we'll have a 360 version, but we'll also have a 2D version because not everybody wants to put on a headset. Right. Then we'll have a metaverse version, and then we'll have an actual VR version, and then we'll have, and now you get to choose how you consume it, because forever we've been telling people how to consume content. People don't want to be told that. People want to choose. And we're bridging that gap and letting people choose now.
I like that. I like that. Giving people the options to decide how they want to experience it. I think it's really, really smart and interesting, especially in technology like this, because there are people that have lots of preferences. I
Right.
have been to lots of exhibitions where people want to experience the VR stuff, but they don't want to put that headset on their head.
Right.
They
Right.
don't feel comfortable having that on their face and all, and except you force them or apply peer pressure or something.
Sure. Sure.
But giving them the option to select which one really, really is exciting. I like that they can explore that. Okay,
And
that's cool. So let's talk. Let's get down now on social impact, and especially the social entrepreneurship route. I think I speak a lot for creators here. Aside those small B2B projects, which is not, it's not coming regularly because, like I said, here in Africa, it's mainly nice to have. I, for one, even argue that augmented reality would most likely go faster and further than virtual reality,
mhm,
because right now internet penetration is higher than ever. Almost everyone has a smartphone, though
right.
there are more end devices, but more and more people are purchasing these high end devices. iPhones are in the hands of youths and teenagers these days.
Mhm.
So, um, when you put all that together now, the main thing is, how do they make sustainable impact? What that means is, whatever they do, how do they drive change? How do they also make revenue for themselves? Because the landscape is a little different. There might be more paying clients on over there on that end, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's a little bit tricky. So what avenues are there that you are aware of that they can make impact and also get funds? Are there business models and stuff like that that we need to know?
Yeah, I mean, so the start of it, of course, is to figure out the issue, right? And every company has pain points. So excuse me, this is more of a an entrepreneurial, but it will lead into the impact because every community has a restaurant, right? Let's say every community has a restaurant. What does the restaurant want? Well, the restaurant wants to serve more food and get more people, right? That's their pain point, right? You're looking at a technology where I can take my phone and a simple light, right, and go scan 10 of their meals, right, and put AR pieces on their menu, right, that are accessible via a QR code. There's money in that, right? There's money in leveraging the technology. That's helping the community. That's making you sustainable income, especially if you're a creative and you just want to tell stories. If you just, what I'm saying, like looking on the enterprise side and understanding there's an enterprise narrative too is a huge way to make money. And it's very, very untapped territory. I mean, I have a tour where I travel the world showing Bible stories in VR, right? That's the religious market. That's enterprise still, right? That's community. That's social impact, and it's all right in the wheelhouse. So I think a lot of people stray out of what they know how to do and what they love for the sake of money, but you have to marry the two. Or you're just working for someone and you're miserable.
Wow, I would love to learn more. Is there a place we can check up on that project? Is it out to the public or it's just strictly B2B? That's the religious one.
Oh yeah, Jesus VR. JesusVRtour.com.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I bought that in 2020, but I've been running Jesus VR since like for a long time, and I just bought the tour side at the beginning of the pandemic, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, please. What did you call it? GVR.
Jesus VR Tour. I'll give you a link.
Okay. That's super. That's amazing. Wow. Like seriously. Yeah. So if we should look at this, should I use the word holistically, if I can say it that way, what we should be focused on right now is creatives should really look away from the fact the creative themselves should also look away from the technology and also understand that this is equally just a medium as well. It's a new medium. It's like 20 years ago, everything was print. You want to share a flyer, print. You want to do anything, print. But then websites started becoming a thing. So even if you print, you have to have a web page. Then mobile apps came. So it's still the same thing. It's just a new medium. And so we should not differentiate the technology from the core business idea or the core story they want to tell. We should find a way to marry it. Because this is wonderful. Like, let me see, I think I can pull it up so people can have a look at it. Yes, this should be it. Yeah, I think I'm sharing. I believe I am. Let me see. Okay, yeah. It's coming up right
that's me.
Super.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. And so on this platform, what can people do? They can actually experience. So these are you created a 3D experience of the stories, right?
So this was, this wasn't something that I created personally. I created I put together the tour. But the people who did Passion of the Christ, Enzo Sisti, he was the person who actually put together this piece. They went and shot it where they shot Passion of the Christ at. And what I did is I made a tour. So we have 100 people at a time. We go to churches, and it's all about, spreading the word of Christ and spreading, the journey, and, and it's very factual. It's not just, oh, here's my opinion, here's what I think happened, no, it's the Bible says this, here it is visually. And effectively, the only thing we really did was translate the Bible into a visual, right? But it makes you feel like you're there, so you have a higher retention rate. And people come out the headset crying, and it's beautiful. It's great.
Wow, that's nice. That's really cool. Great job. Like seriously. So,
Thank you.
so yeah, I guess every creative listening, there are lots of the opportunities abound. What we just need to do is really, really think like a business person, find a way to bring that passion and that core business element and merge it together to push through. Yeah.
Correct.
Um,
Solve a problem. Always solve problems.
yeah, cool. So as creatives looking at solving social issues and all, why would you say this is important for us? Why would you say it's important for creatives to break out from the normal just expressing themselves? I think that's one very wrong notion people have about creatives. They feel we just want to express ourselves, like tell our own story or something. Why
Right.
would you say making social impact or driving for social or sustainable impact is important for creatives?
No, it's huge. You have to have something that you're fighting for. If you do it for the money, money will run from you. That's how it is. And as a creator, you get depressed and you're like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? I'm not making enough money. I'm not. But as a creative, one of the best things I've ever learned is there's a big difference between money and value, right? So if you understand value, you'll always be employed. Money will come to you because you're there fighting for value. You're fighting for effectiveness. You're fighting for the greater good. Once that's your source and your focal point, you will money will always come. As long as you're honest about it, money will always come. Leveraging technologies and making things interesting and creating curiosity hooks, that makes the money come faster, right? But have the core principles in your mind, and don't let your standard be changed by your situation. Once you have that and you have that standard set and you're like, look, I'm focusing on this, I want to do this, everything else falls into place.
Wow, that's interesting. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So let's dive in before we round up. Please, if you're watching, I see Louis had helped us with the URL. He's watching, so he had dropped it for us. So if you're watching, yeah, that's the URL, jesusvrtour.com. You can check that out. So
Yeah.
before we round up, and if you have questions, please drop your questions in the comment section. We would love to take them. Adrian is here to speak with you. And you can, of course, connect with him on LinkedIn. His name is showing on the screen. Just type that into LinkedIn and feel free to reach out to him. So let's go a little bit techy right now, Adrian. The world is, since the, if I can call it, the rise of AI, and then the the super rise of the metaverse.
Right.
There's been a whole lot of talk around this a massive experience, or if you call it, as Apple would say, spatial computing
Sure.
and the likes. Yeah. And technology, there seems to be so many options right now out there. There's AR, there's VR, there's MR, spatial computing, which of course it's the same thing, but then it's not the same in a way.
Right.
Um, where would you say lots of people want to join this industry? I know lots of Africans have been picking up these tools, learning online. But what would be that advice to them in terms of choosing a path to follow, choosing a technology to follow, based on your insights on what the industry is currently looking out for in terms
Mhm.
of opportunities, whether they want to get jobs or they want to set up their own studios? What's your advice on that?
Um, Understanding your end goal is going to help you a lot. There's between YouTube Academy and even some of the paid ones, like there's a lot you can get, a lot of information you can get. When we started Collimation, we didn't have money. We definitely didn't have money, So I spent thousands of hours learning YouTube tutorials and doing a bunch of things wrong, right? But now that I know, and if I could go talk to younger Adrian, I'd say, find a team that has expertise, as opposed to trying to learn it all yourself, right? But and if you don't have a team, make a team. Like you can do outreach, you can send emails. This is all free. You can go on YouTube and learn, but figure out your ultimate consumer, right? Because if you're trying to get mobile devices and VR headsets like standalones, you need to be learning Unity, or you need to be working with people who build in Unity. If you're trying to just have deliverables for, beautiful visuals, you need to be learning Unreal, and understand the pain points between the two. Unreal is beautiful, but it can't work in standalone VR headsets for the most part, or not to that degree. Unity can work everywhere, but it's harder to get that fidelity. So understanding the pros and cons of the platforms before you start learning them is huge. There's a million comparisons online, and then just piece by piece, just learn it. Just, okay, well, I'll spend an hour today. I'll spend an hour. You're gonna watch TV anyway. To spend an hour, doing something that's gonna make you some money.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart and straightforward, and I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. So are there maybe perhaps resources that you're really in line with, or anything that people can go check out? Or is there? I do know, and I'm excited. I don't know if I can announce it, but hopefully we're going to have you as one of our mentors in our upcoming program.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
really excited about that. But then are there like maybe resources that were really key for you in figuring out this space?
You know, talking to people. LinkedIn was huge for me because you can get free information, really. Again, YouTube is, I can't give YouTube enough credit. And then there are programs, Unity for Humanity. Of course, that's a big program to help you get your foot in the door. The companies need content. Meta needs content. They have unlimited money and they need content. That tells you something, right? Because you can create content. So it's really, that's where you start. Start by hosting meetups. Host a meetup at a local park, put an Eventbrite link or whatever, meetup community link you want. Do a Facebook group and say, hey, look, we all want to build this. Who knows Unity? And you'll have one person come out, and that's how it starts. You know, Unity, but you don't know how to tell stories. I know how to tell stories, but I don't know Unity. Oh, we got a team now. We're not going to make any money off this project, but the goal is that, in 6 months, we'll be able to take this prototype and show it to a client, and then we'll be making blah, blah per month or blah, blah per project. And, if you can craft the vision, people will work with you. We were blessed to have people work with us that are way beyond our caliber. I mean, it's co-founding this with Young Guru. What? Like he's a big shot, and it's like he saw the vision, and we were able to come up with the idea, and then it starts building all the other blocks, and everything else falls into place. Harold Hayes Jr. came on at the beginning too. What? Huge. Like it's having certain people on your team, but first you have to know what you're going after.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for that. Yes, we don't have no questions, and well, we don't have any questions. I'm looking at the comments right now. No questions.
Okay. All
So,
right.
Adrian, I do know we'll be speaking with you very soon, I believe. And we
Mhm.
do, of course, we have some upcoming programs that you'll be a part of. You get some invites to watch, listen, see what is happening on the continent. So, from
Well,
you, as a final note to everyone who would be watching this, who is watching this now and who will be watching this later, um, what should we be expecting from Adrian very soon? What's that next
um,
project? Yeah.
we have some really really big partnerships to announce. Like it's bigger than I could have expected. So I thank God for that. But Collimation Comedy Club just got redesigned. So we're launching our hologram comedy club again. We're doing a lot of transmedia things. So we're gonna have it in all platforms so you can check it out. Huge artist collaborations. I can't even talk about one that we're trying to finalize next week. There's some interesting stuff. So if you check us out on Instagram, check us out on LinkedIn is where you'll see most things from me. Let's chat, and I would love to to help people, understand the medium better. That's what I'm here for.
Super. Thanks so much for your time, Adrian. And
Thank you,
yeah, we'll follow up. Thank you. Thank you.
my brother.
Thank you.
Take care. Peace.
Yeah. So that was Adrian, the founder of Collimation, and he's an Excel lead. And I believe you've learned so much. I have learned so much as well. But for some key things that I picked up was, let's separate the technology from the business, understanding that when you're looking at extended reality, when you're looking at virtual reality, it's still storytelling. It's just that this time you're trying to pass those stories across a separate medium. And that's really, really exciting. That's something that is mind-blowing, because a lot of people, when you're speaking about virtual reality, we focus on the technology as opposed to the story. And then once you can create that fine distinction, you merge it together and you get to create something really amazing. And from him as well, some key insights. The B2B side is still one place that is really thriving, that you can make a lot of impact and also revenue as a young XR studio or business. And when it comes to learning, please feel free. YouTube Academy and so many more. You watch all the videos, you get everything. So thanks, guys. I'll be running up now. We have some more sessions where you get to learn more about what other creators within and outside the continent are doing. See you later. Oscar out. Thank you.